So we'll start in a seated position. Again, you might consider sitting on a bolster, block, pillow, whatever is available to you. And just to settle as we come into this practice, let's take a nice big inhale breath together. And an exhale to release. Maybe twice more. Big breath here in through your nose. And release through your mouth. One more time. Good. So as we start in this beginning form, just taking your time to find placement that seems comfortable for you. You may consider closing your eyes or potentially just softening your gaze down the tip of your nose. If it's more comfortable for you, feel free to keep your eyes open, knowing that you're in the comfort of your own home. Let's try to just begin finding our energy and where our weight is shifted in our body. So as you are seated here, start to draw your awareness into where your body is in space. You might feel like you're leaning a little bit forward towards your screen, or perhaps your body is rocked back in space and you're leaning off of the back edges of your sitting bones. And there's no right or wrong. We just want to check in with where we're at, and we might even consider starting to find movement in that plane. So just beginning to exaggerate a rock where you're shifting forward intentionally and shifting back with intention as well. Doing your best to maintain your breath as you're rocking back and forth, knowing that this movement is gentle enough for you, that you're just taking time to explore where your body is in space, which spot feels comfortable or like the right spot for you to be in. If you're coming in late and you're just joining us, my name is Elizabeth. I'll be guiding you through your practice today. And if it is your first time doing a trauma-informed practice, know that the forms that we take are not very big in expression. The purpose of our practice is to really just work on grounding and centering and finding some internal awareness of where our body's in space, figuring out where our energy is. So as we shift forward and back, you might consider picking a spot that feels correct for you, or like you're drawing the most energy into your body. Maybe that is that forward lean or that back lean, or perhaps there's a spot right in center that makes you feel really tall, energized through your spine. And in this practice, know that there is no right and wrong. There's no need to find stillness at certain times or movement at certain times. Everything is within your own expression and within your reach. So you're welcome to continue that forward and back motion, or I'd invite you to maybe try shifting side to side. And if you are taking up that invitation to shift side to side, maybe tuning in with how your body is shifting. Do you feel it only in your sitting bones? Does that shift side to side travel through to the center space of your rib cage, more like a wave? Maybe your head even wants to find a little bit of a follow through where you feel like your head is tipping slightly at the end of that wave side to side. Again, that may be the feeling that you find yourself in, perhaps not. Just checking in with how that feels for you. And all the while we're exploring this first pose, side to side, or perhaps you're still in that forward and back motion. Check in with yourself to any feelings or energies that come up for you. We're moving from the base of our belly upwards in space. So we may feel some energy rising from our core, from our breath and our bellies. Maybe you find that that side to side motion has even more sway. Following through, listening to that sound of the wave crashing in the background. Still allowing yourself to be present. At any point, you can take stillness or continue movement. And you can continue any form that I've given you previously, or we can move forward together. We'll come back through a centered space where you feel like you're ready. And perhaps just taking a few breaths in that centered space, potentially seeing how it feels to change the position of your hands if you had them down, perhaps turning them up, or vice versa. And whether you're still moving or you found stillness, checking in with the depth of your breath. Seeing if just in those first few moments we've allowed ourselves to start tuning inwards, being present. And knowing that in today's practice we'll move a lot through types of postures and forms that have a waving or circular-like feeling to them. In your own time, we can begin to take our fingertips towards our shoulders in front of us. And then see how it feels to guide your elbows forward, upwards, outwards, and back in space. Perhaps connecting your breath, inhales forward, and exhales back. And drawing your awareness to any feeling or sensation that arises here, not only within the shoulder socket, but potentially also in the shoulders and the back behind us. Maybe even around the neck towards the ears. And take time here to lubricate the shoulder joints. Recognizing any feelings that arise. For me, I feel quite a bit of crunching sensation, but only in my left side. So again, that's information telling me that my shoulder on the left needs just a little bit more care. You can decide to continue taking this rolling upwards and backwards action. Or we can alternate, reversing by drawing the elbows back first on inhale, out and forwards as you exhale. Again, just taking your time with it, moving in a way that feels right for you. There's no right or wrong. The speed is your choice. The direction is your choice. Know that at any point you may feel comfortable or prepared to just pause in any position. Maybe that's with elbows up or the shoulders back. Checking in with how that feels. So just hold one space. And potentially continuing on. Again, giving yourself time to be with your breath here. Maybe seeing how it's beginning to change as you continue with the form for a little bit longer. Perhaps our breath is getting more expansive, or we're just becoming a little more connected to it. You're more than welcome to continue this practice of rolling shoulders back or forward, or I invite you to draw hands towards heart center. You can just begin to feel a little bit of energy here between palms. We may not yet feel energy between the palms, so you might consider giving them a little rub, creating some heat, a little bit of warmth. And then maybe taking your time with it, just sending the hands slightly apart from one another and feeling that little bit of vibration that may be between them. A slight pulsation, potentially between fingertips. Knowing that we hold this energy, not only between our palms, but within ourselves, we can begin working with our breath by taking arms out on inhale, maybe thinking of expanding or reaching outwards in space, and then exhaling, drawing back through the center. So just this feeling of reaching and returning. Or we can consider it an expansion and a contraction. Knowing that how far or how close you bring your hands together, again, is totally up to you. The expression that you feel you're able to take right now, the energy that you want to express. And again, we may start to get into a rhythm where we feel that as our arms open apart from one another, we can consider it like our lungs expanding. Inhale, breath, taking up light, maybe love, and then drawing it back in towards us, closer towards our center, closer to our heart. Again, the speed is up to you. You might even consider stopping in one of those spaces just to see how that feels for a moment. where that expression is drawn into your body. And maybe from here we can even begin to feel how our temperature in our body might be changing. Perhaps we're finding a little more heat as you take up a little more space. Again, I invite you to continue this if you feel like you'd like to stay a little longer or explore a little longer. And when you feel ready, you can take your hands down by your sides and we'll just begin stretching over towards one side. See if you can take an inhale breath that's going to draw you back up to the center and assist you in switching as you exhale. It doesn't matter what side you're on or how long you take from side to side. Again, this is your opportunity to explore movement. And as you're working here through the side-to-side reach and expansion, know that if you need to change your position in your seat, on the floor, one leg or both legs need to come out from underneath you, you're going to take the posture that's most comfortable for you so that you can continue being embodied in your movement and connected to your breath. The same way we found our seat at the beginning when we were rocking forward and back, we can take the time here to maintain your connection, sitting bones towards the earth, feeling that grounded feeling, and seeing how that movement, again, waves from your seat, along your spine, through the outside of your rib cage and shoulder, essentially reaching energy all the way to fingertips. Just checking in with yourself where you feel that sensation arising. You're welcome to continue this movement from side to side, or I invite you that once you arrive to one side, begin to curve in on yourself. And then breathe back open. So potentially here it's an inhale, finding again a contraction or a curvature in our bodies, and an exhale that's going to help you feel like you're opening up your rib and breathing to get more space into that side body. You can take as many of these as you feel ready for. Switch to the other side at any time. And again, explore at your own pace, curving in and breathing. You might consider going back to the side action, Or maybe even just moving into one of those spaces and pausing and just being with yourself, your breath, your energy. For most of us, this may be one of the most intuitive and gentle practices we've kind of been involved in or attended over the past few weeks. Maybe we haven't really been moving within our bodies much. Again, I invite you to continue that if that feels like you'd like to stay. Otherwise, we can begin to send both arms towards the sky and just take a few breaths here as you reach up, holding this space, maybe with eyes closed, or again, gaze soft. And just tuning into any little vibration that might be happening. Perhaps again we feel temperature change. Fingers and palms hot. Palms and forearms potentially pulsing. When you feel prepared, you can take a deep inhale here through your nose. And as you exhale, draw hands in and down towards heart center, feeling that release of your shoulders, that drop of energy. And in your own time, when you feel ready to move, we'll shift off of our prop and make our way to a tabletop position. And so we find our way towards hands and knees gently. And then just take the time to spread evenly through the fingertips, getting comfortable, feeling this kind of new frame or form here with your knees and palms pressing down into your mat or into the ground underneath you. I might consider starting to move through cat and cow, where we inhale, take our gaze and chin forward. And exhale, curve through your spine, chin to chest as we scoop through our tail. Continuing between those two spaces, just at your own time, your own pace. Potentially thinking back again to the curve or circular feeling we're aiming to draw our awareness to in our practice today. Thinking about this wave of energy that's moving through your spine from tail to crown of head. Some of us might consider taking our cow pose forward. And then as we press to cat, potentially shifting back to a little bit of a child's pose. And again, moving forward through that space, right up over our wrists. And curving. And pressing back. So you can add that extra bit of movement or just stay in that tabletop form. You can choose. invite you to shift your weight to a child's pose. Deciding for yourself here whether you prefer to have your knees close or potentially further apart. And that will offer different feelings. So if our knees are quite tight towards one another, it will be more curvature in your spine. If you set them apart from one another, you'll find that your belly and your heart falls through and there's a little more length happening with fingers shifting or reaching further forward. And then maybe exploring in either position how it feels to take your chin or your forehead down to your mat. You can decide whether the elbows are energetic and lifted, or if we have them released and bent towards the ground to relax your shoulders. With your forehead down, connecting to the earth, giving yourself a few breaths, again, just to connect to your own source of energy. Maybe even taking some time to bow down in gratitude to this practice. Bowing down to your body and its capabilities. And also bowing down to the knowledge that you have within yourself. The knowledge that brings you to your mat and asks you to be in tune with your spirit. Feel free to stay in this form, or we'll invite you to go ahead and shift back forward in your own time. Adjust so that the knees are back underneath the hips. And then we'll walk hands over to our side. Now again, it doesn't matter right or left, whichever side you've got space or seems intuitive to you. But that once you're over onto that side, the opposing leg, you're going to send in front of you, so towards the top of your mat. Now once you've got that step forward, come on back through the center, so you're facing towards the top of your foot or framing the front of your foot. Okay. And then just making sure that your back knee feels comfortable here. Maybe set up a blanket underneath if you feel like you need a little more cushion. And we might consider reaching the arms overhead, just taking a little bit of a stretch here along the front of the thigh and finding some strength also in the supporting standing foot here. Good. So once we arrive in this space, again, considering whether you'd like to just stay if this stretch feels really wonderful for you, or we'll find a little bit of that forward and back action like we did in our sitting bones before, where we pull back, hips stacks up over knee on an inhale breath, and we can gently shift back forward into the supportive foot as we exhale. So we inhale, rocking the whole body back in space. Exhale, leaning back forward into that supporting foot. Right, and the range of motion is completely up to you. So maybe if you're watching me, it might seem like there's a lot of space. Maybe for others, it would be a little softer, just a few inches back, a few inches forward. And I'll invite you to continue this motion should you like, or if it's more preferable, just stay in one frame. But we might consider allowing the arms to release and then adding those circles that we had done before. So fingers to elbows and shoulders will loop back in that circle, just as we had done when we were sitting. So now we're adding that movement and lubrication of not only the shoulders, but the hips in action, all simultaneously. And if you find that it's too much or you prefer just one or the other, just go ahead and return to whatever space feels best for you. Maybe you're considering taking circles and the elbows back the other direction as we had done before. And again, potentially choosing to pause anywhere along your journey that may feel like the right space for you to just hold and take a few intentional breaths. And as you feel ready in your own time, we'll slowly begin to release if we're ready. Draw our hips back in space a little bit. And then take hands again over to that opposite side. So the foot that's in front has space to sweep back around, back to our knees to meet. And we can switch them. So hands shift over to the opposite edge of your space. The other leg can shift in front. And then rock forward to frame that front foot. Again, checking in with your back right knee or whichever knee is behind. Make sure that you're comfortable, and if you need the blanket to, again, set yourself up. Taking a breath, sending arms up on an inhale, and then just exploring this space here for a moment, checking in with your alignment. Tuning into the mobility that you feel on this side. Perhaps it feels a little different than the previous edge. And then taking your breath with your core to again pull us back. An inhale can draw us to stack that hip right up over the back knee. And an exhale to shift our body weight forward. So the motion isn't necessarily in our upper body, but through our pelvis, full body pulling back and full body shifting back forward. A few times between those sides, exploring again where your weight feels best. Good. And at any point as you feel ready, again, our arms can relax for a moment, feeling blood rush back into fingertips now that our hands are down. And we can start thinking about potentially creating those circles again, backwards in space. Or maybe you decide to switch the circles and go in the opposite direction, where elbows will lead back first, circling forward rather than backwards. And taking the time to feel how this is a full body integration. Maybe ask yourself if your breath is guiding your movement, or is your movement guiding your breath? We can take as many more circles through this form as we feel ready for. And at any point, we can begin to take our arms back down and shifting them off towards our side so that that foot in front has space to again circle back around, knees to meet, making your way back to a tabletop position. And just taking a moment here to again feel the ground underneath us, palms and knees pressing. Maybe we can really feel again a vibration running through fingertips and energy between fingertips and the earth. And then taking your time, when you feel ready to explore, tucking your toes and pressing hips up and back gently to a downward facing dog. Taking your time with that downward dog. Just finding a few gentle breaths with it. And potentially making space there to pedal out through your feet. Like you're gently walking on the spot, right and left. Just finding a timing that works for you. And you find that one of your calves needs a little more attention. Again, maybe just bend in that single side. Press there for a few breaths. Give it some time. Time to breathe into it. Maybe then switching to that other side. Giving a few deeper breaths to that second calf. And if this is too long for you in your downward facing, feel free to come back to tabletop again, knowing that the practice is yours. We'll eventually meet together, so we'll try to find our way back through to tabletop as you're ready. And once you do make your way back there, keeping your toes tucked underneath you, just seeing how that might feel a little differently as we stretch there through the bottoms of our feet. And then beginning to move gently back and potentially forward again. Rocking our weight into the base of our feet, really stretching open that fascial line underneath the arch of our foot. Right, so some of us may explore just shifting back in space and holding. Or we can continue again, rocking forward and back, really feeling what arises for us there in the base of our feet. Again, knowing that you're moving at your own pace, your own tempo. And making choices that feel right for you in today's practice. You may even begin to consider, as we come forward, instead of just shifting directly forward, thinking about shifting towards one palm and then drawing a circle with your heart forward, around to the other hand, and back into space. So again, finding a circular action. By shifting your weight from right to left or left to right. Just exploring how that might feel. And as we go side to side or circle around, take time at any point to switch directions. If your feet feel like they've had enough of a deep stretch underneath your toes, we can release them, pointing them back, but potentially continue the circle through our body as we transfer our weight from one edge of the space to the other. We'll take a few more moments here together to explore this. Again, feel free to continue if that feels like a form you want to continue working in. Otherwise, I'll invite you to come back through the centered space. Connect with your breath, tucking your toes once again. And finding an exhale to press up and back into your downward facing. Seeing if now potentially we feel a little stronger of an anchor through our palms. Or a little more breath and space through our chest and shoulders. We might consider shaking our head yes a few times. Or even shaking your head no. Taking those last few breaths in your downward facing dog. As you're ready, exhaling to allow yourself to come back into table. And then just gently make your way back down to a seated position with or without your prop, up to you. And we'll take one leg in front of us and the other will be gently behind. So let's consider taking the leg that's in front close to a 90-degree angle. And the leg that's behind, we can bend that back heel in as deeply as you feel comfortable when moving. And we can have the prop underneath our seat if our hips feel tight here, so that way we elevate our pelvis and let our knees be a little bit lower. And once we find this frame, we want to see how it might feel to begin to take rotation. So whichever leg you have bent in front, rotating towards that edge. So inhaling, looking over that shoulder, potentially exhaling, just coming back through to neutral. And arms can just find a gentle sway down by your side. If that doesn't feel quite right, you can keep hands at heart and belly. Or again, playing on other parts of the practice that we've done today. We might even take fingers to shoulders and go back into those elbow circles. So lots of options here for what we can do with our arms. Each time we shift into that singular sitting bone and come back through the center, we find a little bit more mobility in the opposing hip. And if at all you feel like that opposing hip has a bit of a clicking feeling, take that back knee closer towards the forward heel so that you're not deepening that extension so much. Okay, so the flexion in your hip is a little bit smaller. Every time we take that opening towards our side as we rotate, again, the mobility is up to you. So you'll feel in your own body how far you feel comfortable moving. And we can think back to that expression of the wave through the spine. That wave might move to your chest, or we might feel that wave move all the way towards our chin as it turns back. Asking yourself at any point, again, if you would like to pause or hold, knowing that it is your practice, your expression. If there's a placement that you really feel called to, moving there and holding, seeing what that brings up for you, if anything. can choose to continue this at our own pace, still towards that single side, or I invite you to begin to switch directions. So we'll sweep the leg that is behind in front and alternate sides. And because we have a different side here, we might have different sensation in our hips. So again, knowing if we need that closer stance or further. Maybe we need a bolster on the side where we didn't on the previous. And then just begin to take that rotation towards the leg that is in front and return to neutral. You can feel your pelvis or your pubic bone rocking here. As you turn, it shifts forward or tips forward. And as we come back through the center, it levels or even tucks underneath. Once we begin to find a rhythm in our lower body, and exploring what framework in the arms seems like the right place for you, by your side, or potentially heart and belly. Maybe that call once again to circle through the elbows. You can explore all three. Maybe just one. And choosing what seems fitting for your practice today. As you really get in touch with what your body needs and what feels good in your system. You can choose to take a little more time here. Maybe again, we'd like to just find a moment of stillness. And at any point as you feel ready, making your way back through the center. And we can allow ourselves to shift once more, again with that back leg coming around and forward. And we'll make our way gently towards our back. So we can have our feet towards the top of our mat, or maybe even the back of our mat if we'd like to roll closer to our screens. Just take a moment to shift from side to side again, finding the energy of your sitting bones underneath you. And then having our fingers or our palms pressing in towards our shins, thinking about growing tall through our spine, energy rising up from tail to crown of head. We might even consider taking our chin up to open up through our throat and our heart space a little deeper. Allow your head to return to center, and still thinking about that length in your spine, let's send our arms forward, reaching on an inhale breath. And we can slowly take our time where we curve through our spine. So again, feeling our tail tuck, slowly feeling our sitting bones pointing forward. And again, this is taking up as much or as little time as you feel you can. Working on articulating through your spine as you lower on down. Eventually, when you do meet your mat, give a big stretch to your body here, reaching arms up, maybe pointing through your toes, maybe wiggling through fingertips. And as you exhale deeply, we can draw knees in towards our chest if that feels comfortable here. Feet on or off the floor. Offering a gentle rub from side to side, massaging our spine. Whenever you feel ready or called, we allow our feet to rest back onto our mat or the earth underneath us. And see how it feels for you if you walk your feet sideways in space towards the edges of the space. And then allow your knees to come in closer to touch. So it's like we're creating a tent or an A-frame for ourselves here. Now if the feet are too wide, we might feel again that's too much internal rotation of our hips. So we can always shorten the stance. Figure out how far apart or how wide the feet feel comfortable for you. And see how it feels here to send our fingertips up over our eyes towards the sky. We may consider reaching up as though we're trying to grasp the stars or the sun. And then crossing our arms, giving ourselves a little bit of a hug. Eyes can stay again open or closed here. We're just paying attention here to our breath, so softening our movement and letting ourselves be with our breath here as we're giving ourselves a gentle hug. Letting everything sit and resonate within our system. And we can ask ourselves where we feel our breath in this position. Do we feel it in our bellies? Do we feel it closer to our heart? Maybe we can even feel it in our throats. Again, there's no right or wrong. We're just checking in and allowing ourselves to observe anything that comes up for us. In your own time, I invite you to send your hands back up towards the ceiling. And then cross opposite arm on top, giving yourself again a hug. And taking your time, just allow yourself to be here, being present with your breath, with the energy that's pulsating through you. Allowing yourself to feel any feelings that might arise from giving yourself a hug. Not something that we do very often, or for some of us at all. And this time of distancing, giving ourselves a hug, finding that connection, that sense of touch, may feel overwhelming, an overwhelming sense of gratitude and love for ourselves. We're able to offer space to this practice, really being here for our bodies, our minds, and our hearts. feels like the space that you would like to finish practice today, please feel free to choose to remain in this posture. Otherwise, I would invite you to shift gently to any form that feels like the right space to end, and that may be laying on your back with long arms and long legs. Other options might be to roll into your side and take some time in fetal pose. Or you may consider ending your practice back in a seated meditation. I'll let you take time here to go ahead and choose a space that feels right for you. Potentially again giving space to close eyes or soften gaze down past the tip of your nose. Feeling how your breath is softened now. The energy that is within us is just beginning to simmer. A kind of low boil through our bodies. Our breath is no longer invigorating. It's just gentle and with us. There may be space here to relax gently through the jawline. Finding ease and spaciousness between the bite surfaces of the teeth. Feeling that energy that we typically carry high up by your shoulders and neck melt gently down towards the earth. And just taking the time here to recognize the support. Not only the support that we receive today from the ground beneath us and the roof above us, but also the support that we receive from our breath, our bodies, our inner knowing, and one another as a community. I invite you to either remain as you are if you choose to stay a little longer, Or if you like, make your way up to a gentle seat slowly. I'll offer space here to close our practice together. Whether you're seated or remaining, laying, or curved into a ball. If there's space for you there, one hand to your belly and the other hand back to your heart. Just taking these last moments of breath for yourself. These last moments of energy that we've shared here together in our practice. And remind yourself that you always have the tools within. You always have this practice. You will always have the grounding and inner knowing. We finish today with one last deep breath together. A strong inhale through our nose. And an exhale to gently release. Thank you so much for practice.